Hello and welcome to Friday with Fran. October is designated as Down Syndrome Awareness Month. And so Fran has the great privilege of having raised and still raising, he's an adult now, but we never stop raising our children, no matter how old they get,
Mhm.
a son with Down syndrome. And I have had the privilege of working with not just her son, but several other people, students in my career that have had Down syndrome. And so today we just wanted to talk to you a little bit about Down syndrome, give you some information about it, but mostly just talk about our experiences with people who have Down syndrome. Every so often, I'm going to do this and pop up some pictures of her son. Um, and I did not bring any pictures of my former students because I didn't have permission from their families to share. And um, I don't like to do those kinds of things unless I have permission. So, Fran, tell us about your wonderful son.
Oh my goodness gracious.
You
I got to see him this morning. Well,
did?
not really, but I stopped by and I dropped off a diet caffeine-free root beer and some potato cheesy bites from Casey's.
Nice.
So
Diet
I
caffeine
handed him
root
out.
beer. So, like, what's left?
Um, Hopefully controlled behavior.
Okay.
Yes, we did discover with Luke that sugar is not a good thing with him, so we tend to go sugar free
Right.
if possible. Normally, I try to go more the natural rather than the other, but it is what it is.
Right.
Uh, that was like one of the last times he was at home. That last picture you saw there with the guitar.
Oh, really?
But so I'm trying to think. Where do we want to start?
Well, just tell me some of the funny stories that you have. And I know there's
Okay,
countless,
well,
I'm
I
sure.
know that he's not an albatross around my neck. He's not a ball and chain that I've been burdened with for my whole life. He is a blessing. He's a light. He changes everyone with whom he encounters. Uh, um, I can't imagine life without him. Like I've said forever, he's my anchor.
Right.
Um, and my daughter is my sail, but he just kind of goes through life and does. Um, Sorry, I'm just scrolling over here on this other randomly different
No,
screen to see if we're live, but I'm not seeing it.
I just accidentally took you. Oh, there we go. Okay.
You
I
can
hit the
take me
wrong.
out. That's okay. I'm more than happy with that one. I'll just be a voice. How's that sound?
No, no,
But
you have to be a face too.
oh man, okay. And apparently my dog is a little needy today, so you get my dog in the picture too today.
Nice. We like
So,
Cooper.
oh, Alex says, "Love you, Mr. Man."
Yeah.
So, and he's this is we talked briefly before we went live, and it was a kind of crazy, tiring week, and he's struggling a bit. So when he struggles, I struggle. I
Right.
just long to be with him, long to see him in person. It's been over 205 days. I don't know. Didn't ask the latest number. But that's just really long, just so you know.
Yeah.
To
Yeah, it
me, it
is.
seems really long. But this was on a Disney cruise, and he was
Nice.
climbing the porthole. And the Down syndrome. Oh yeah, there's a association out of St. Louis, Down Syndrome Association of Greater St. Louis, and it reaches into the area where we are as well. So um, he was able to do a football camp with them through that. Um, so let me think. Some funny things about Luke. What you see is what you get. There's no hidden agenda. There's no he's just it's kind of refreshing. You don't have to worry that there's a hidden meaning when he says something. What he says coming out of his mouth is what he means generally.
Hmm.
He's had opportunity. He used to have really long hair. Can you tell? But he was becoming him a girl, so I cut his hair. Um, and he loves to ride on lawnmowers. And that was the hardest thing when he got too big to sit on my lap, and so I could drive him around. And that was in Colorado when we were there. So let me think. I know that when he was first born, I'm gonna try to like rein in my chipmunks because they're everywhere. When he was first born, I had done the triple screening, and I had come back abnormal with the possibility of Down syndrome, but I chose not to do the amniocentesis, which would have confirmed if he had Down syndrome or not, because my question to them was, well, okay, so what can you do if you find out?
Right.
Well, then you'll know. You'll also know his sex, but you'll know. Okay, well, can you change it? Will it make a difference? And well, you could always choose to terminate your pregnant. I went, what? And I was like, well, that's not really a choice. That's not an option in my life. So the only thing I'm getting out of this is what you're telling me is there's an increased risk of miscarriage. And so therefore, no, I'm okay. So when he was born, my thoughts are, oh, look, he has all his fingers and toes, and oh, look, he's cooing and crying. And it wasn't, oh, does he have Down syndrome?
Right.
That was not my first thought. But he was whisked away pretty quickly. He couldn't keep his body temperature, and so he had some medical things and was in the NICU. And then I got when I had come back from going to get something to eat, my first time from leaving the hospital, and I came back and there was a doctor waiting to at the elevator. I think we've talked about this briefly before, but there was a doctor waiting at the elevator and said, I have something to tell you. So then he takes me in and we go, and he says, the karyotype is back. And the karyotype is when they take a blood sample and they break it down all the way down to chromosomes.
Okay.
And he goes, your son has trisomy 21, otherwise known as Down syndrome. I went, oh, okay. And well, and partially I cried a little bit because it's the death of a dream. We all have dreams for our children, and so the dreams I had to be put aside, and I had to grieve those a bit and let them go, and now have different dreams, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
you just changed your dreams.
Right, yeah, it was setting aside, because we all have dreams and they always change. I know my dreams for even my own life, they've changed over time. So that was, the beginning of a different life. Just a different life, a life filled with, he had all kinds of therapies and things. But that's something really key if you have a child who's born with different needs, is getting involved in early intervention. Finding those resources that are out there, realizing you're not alone.
Right.
Because you're not. Even if you don't have family around, if you're a single parent, there's always resources out there. Don't try to do it alone. You're not meant to do it alone.
Right.
They say it takes a village. It takes so much. And I'm blessed that Luke has always had a village. And do you want to share what Alex?
Yeah, I just didn't want to interrupt you.
No, you're okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So Alex is a friend of Fran's and has known Luke for quite some time. And she said, he enters your life and never leaves. He brings you a light of life that only he can. He is pure at heart, and you get what you get. There are no hidden meanings. My life will never be boring now that he is in it. He brightens my every day.
Oh, yep. He's a hoot.
And I can recall, some of the first times meeting you all and working with him at the Therapeutic Writing Center. And he just has this very unique, very bright personality. And I can recall that he didn't want to get on the horse. He loved the horses, but
Mm-hmm.
he didn't necessarily want to ride the horses. And so I would sit on the horse once we would get the horse in position for him to get on the horse. And so then I would sit on the horse and come on, Luke, come sit with me. And he was always very cooperative for me. And then we'd get the leg over, and then I'd get off, and he'd be on his merry way for his ride.
Mm-hmm.
That was getting him on the horse, and then as his sidewalker, which for anybody who doesn't know what a sidewalker is, exactly what it sounds like. It's somebody who during therapeutic riding sessions walks alongside and sort of just is there as an extra layer of, and I put my arm up because that's what I always had to do. I put my arm across their leg, and have held it, just sort of given a little extra support. And so that's usually what I did. And I guess I must have always been on his left side that I put my right arm up. I'm not really sure why I did that, but I can just remember he would sing songs, and he had songs that he made up. He had songs that he sang that he changed the words to fit what he was doing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I want the song that is coming to mind is Home on the Range. Home on the Range.
Yes, home on the range where the deer and the horses poop, poop, poop.
Yeah.
Yes, that was his version of Home on the Range.
Yeah. And he just was always, of course he had his moments, like anybody does, where he wasn't maybe in the best mood, or he wasn't feeling the best that day, or he just didn't want to be going to therapy, for whatever reason on a particular day. But you could always get him to smile. And that smile, as you saw in the pictures, just lights up the room when he smiles. He's that's that brightness that I talked about, that he has pure joy in his smile.
Yeah.
And it was such a privilege. And he still hugs. Oh my goodness. Always got a hug. Either right when I would get out there, if it wasn't already his turn for therapy, or, definitely before he left. And still to this day, when I see him, obviously not recently, but, he loves to hug, and very affectionate, and just a super nice young man. I wanted to say kid, but I can't really say that anymore.
But that's the funny thing is yes, he is a young man, but when people ask me, or especially because he lives in a single person SILA, which is a community integrated living, I always forget the A, but anyway, as I'm trying to help the staff navigate how to work with them, I say, think adult sized body, likes Caillou Barney brain, and interact with him that way, and you're going to be pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. I mean, he embodies the kid at heart, most definitely. And yeah, he's just, I mean, I don't have negatives to say about him. I know there are some, but
no, I know, but I mean, everyone does. But I wanted to touch on something as you were sharing, because you were saying he always has a hug, and I know that we stereotype people. And one of the stereotypes that I've heard so many times through Luke's life and working with other individuals who happen to have Down syndrome is, oh, they're so loving. Yes,
sorry.
baby. No, it's okay. It's okay. And it's okay because they are, but they're also individuals.
Mm-hmm.
As especially through education, as you know, individual education.
Absolutely.
We're individuals, and
right.
they each love in different ways.
Right.
and they express themselves in different ways, just like you and I express ourselves differently.
Right.
And so it's just yeah, uh, he's
And
loving
I'll be
to.
honest, I really was thinking specifically about him because the two other people that I think about the most when I think of those that I've worked with that have Down syndrome are both female, and they're not huggers, at least
Uh-huh.
with me. You know, hopefully they are with their families to some degree, but um, you know, I mean, I loved, again, they were two students of mine, and the one was during my student teaching, and I really, I see her occasionally, and I think she still remembers me because she always gives me a look like she recognizes me at least, and smiles at me
Uh-huh.
and says hi and whatever. Um, and then, but I mean, even during student teaching with her, I didn't get a lot of hugs from her. And then my other student that I had for a long time, many years, um, she's always happy to see me. And, you know, she will say, "Hey, Kino," but she doesn't hug me either. So
Hmm.
it's,
Yeah.
I'm defending myself.
No, it's okay. And I don't mean it in that way, but and it's but and I knew you were describing Luke, and he is, but so many people clump all people who happen to have Down syndrome as, oh, they're so loving. And those are the days. I also worked in the field of working with people with developmental disabilities, adults with developmental disabilities, and and when you have someone with Down syndrome swinging at your head, and in the back of your head you're going, oh yeah, this is one of those loving moments, thank you so much. I mean, you love the individual, but in the moment you're
Right,
like, okay, swing, swing, oh, jump, move.
right.
Okay, what can
Yeah,
I do to diffuse it? And those are the times you're like, okay, people, this is not a loving moment.
right.
So, but
And
and I think we hurt individuals when we sometimes try to when we stereotype them in that way, and we don't give them the grace, the allowance to have a bad moment,
right,
because we assume, and you shared that on your page, I saw that earlier. We assume that they should be loving all the time. We
right,
don't give them the opportunity to have bad days. We push them and train them, and that's one of the things I've been thinking through, especially with my daughter. Is we spend so much time teaching individuals who happen to have different needs how to function in society, how to be accepted in society, instead of teaching those around them to adapt to them as well. It's a meet in the middle kind of thing, and so
right,
often anyone with a different need is expected to rise to wherever this imaginary standard is,
right.
instead of, hey, let's meet somewhere.
Right. That's a very, very good point. And I do just want to pop up Alex's other comment here. She said there are some negatives, but the positives so outweigh them.
Mm-hmm.
And in true Alex form, she threw the word balance
Uh,
out at us.
uh-huh.
However, Alex, I'm gonna say your comment prior to that sort of negates your balance one because his positives do outweigh. So it's not an even balance, but it is acknowledging, you know, that everybody is different and
Mm-hmm.
everybody has uniqueness, and it's important to identify and appreciate and accept that uniqueness. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think maybe if that's what Alex was talking about as far as balance, which I kind of think it was, um, that, you know, then I can definitely agree with her. Shoot, there was something before Alex put balance up that I was going to say. I forgot now.
She had to get it in there.
I know she did.
Uh,
She last week was the only week she didn't get it in, and I wonder if she actually was joining us last week because we didn't have any comments last week, so I think maybe
um,
she didn't.
hey, can you throw up the slideshow for a bit? Do you mind?
Yeah,
Because
no,
I
that's
was
fine.
gonna. I don't know if you see throughout it. There's lots of animals.
Uh,
Bubby,
I
Bubby
really
loved animals. He loved his dogs, his cats, he's so funny. He talks about like even all the ones that have passed away. He can name them all.
Yeah.
Not just ours, neighbors,
Oh,
and more
wow.
neighbors, and the neighbors, animals. Up there he is with Cooper.
Yep.
So, oh, and he's had so many opportunities. Sometimes I don't want to. Maybe it's not envy, but it's I go, wow, you've been so blessed. The pictures of him with tuxes. There's a local company that would donate a tux, and it wasn't just like your basic tux. It was a Michael Kors tux.
Oh, wow.
He would walk. They have a plant, or I don't know what, a distribution center, for lack of a better word, near us, and he would get to go in and pick out the colors he wanted to wear, and he would try them on.
Wow.
And it was just amazing. It was just through the acceptance of the people around him. But the reason he needed the Texas, he was going to the Pujols Family Foundation. They put on an autumn prom in St. Louis. So he would go to those, and of course he had to look styling.
Well, yeah.
And then and then Tim Tebow does Night to Shine. And so he started going to those. So then, of course, he needed a different tux. And I don't know if he really likes pink. It was really hard to get him away from pink, and so that's like the mint green tuxie. And that was only because we told him he couldn't have pink.
Oh, gotcha.
And this was the final final one he'd gone to. He had a blue tux with black.
Wow.
And this is Bailey. This was his dog. He and Bailey could do whatever. Bailey just put up with Luke. In that picture, he just was in the baseball. There's a Challenger program up in Pocahontas, actually. So, but it's interesting. Special Olympics is so involved. He's done basketball, softball, and track. He hasn't done any team sports.
Well, basketball is a team sport.
No, individual skills.
Oh, okay.
So, but well, I guess what I was mainly trying to capture in these pictures, I'm trying to think. I'm sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained today. It's been a really rough week for me. Luke had a rough week. So then when, because he's so intertwined, he is the anchor, and I have to advocate for him. And I have to, Alex, bullying as well. You're right. I have to advocate for him. So sometimes that it can be weary having an individual in your life who has different abilities. It can drain you, and it's important as the caregiver to refresh yourself, because you can't give and you can't help out of an empty tank, a battery that's got no cells left on it, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that was partially why I'm a little miscombobulated, because instead of getting everything together prior to coming on to visit with you today, I chose to go horizontal and give my body a little bit of a cat nap.
That's awesome. You need to do that sometimes.
So I think it's about balance or something like that, So.
There's probably that word in there. I just was going to look up St. Louis Down Syndrome Association. Yeah.
You going to share?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I actually am going to share a couple different things here. I've got the national one up, and I will also share. So this one's the national one. So this is the National Down Syndrome Society. So if there's things that you wanted to know as far as statistics, why it's called Down syndrome, a lot of people mistake.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
That's
do you
okay.
want to go with that, or do you want me to go with that?
Well, you can go with it, and but I'm going to caveat it with, see right here where it says DOWN, it stops. There is no S. So now go ahead.
The person that discovered Down syndrome, and it's actually a lowercase s when you write it out, did not have it. So it's not his to say. So it's not possessed by him.
Right.
So that's, I can't see that word.
Oh, sorry. I was just highlighting that what you said, because
okay. So correctly. I think that's one of the worst things in the world for me is, don't say, oh my gosh, they have Downs. What?
Right.
Who? What? Where? When? They have up, they have sideways. What are you talking about? About what are you talking?
Right.
It's Down syndrome. Sometimes I'll say D.
Uh-oh. Did I just lose you? Oh.
What?
Yeah, I'm losing you a little bit.
You're losing me?
Okay, there. Now you're okay.
Where did I go?
I don't know. It was when I was on the other screen, you were very, maybe it was just me that I was not hearing everything you were saying, but I was like, you froze, it sounded like.
Aw.
So, but it's all good. It's all good now. So
okay, I'm sorry. So I'll let you go on, because you and I were both thinking the exact same thing. So go ahead.
No, you're good. You explain it. I was just highlighting that his name is John Langston Down. So exactly what you're saying, that if, it's, first of all, he's a person, or she's a person. So they're not a Down syndrome person. They are a person with Down syndrome.
It's not a travesty. It's not an illness. It's not something to be cured.
You don't go around and say, oh, he's a pneumonia patient. I mean, a doctor might, but even then, well, the patient is presenting symptoms of pneumonia. I mean, so the people first language is definitely a movement that I am behind and in support of 100%, because there's a whole lot more to every person than one characteristic or one part of them.
That would be even like, okay, saying, oh, she's a wheelchair person for myself.
Right.
I honestly don't even think I'm in a wheelchair most of the time. So I would look at you probably quizzically, much like some people, if you told Luke that, he'd be like, what?
Right. Yeah. So the prevalence, it says it's 1 in every 700 babies in the United States. So it's the most common chromosomal condition. And that's, I mean, it's as you said earlier, it's on the 21st chromosome. There's an M there, not an N. And his specific one was the trisomy 21, but there's also mosaicism.
Mosaic.
Yep.
And translocation.
And translocation. So there's lots of different varieties of, different types of Down syndrome, but I'm going to get off of that screen because, like I said, that was just really for informational purposes.
I think there's also another one, NADS, National Association for Down Syndrome, as well. That's like cute, the big ones.
Okay, stop screen. There we go. All right. So then I'm going to share this screen and go to the one near us. So then there's this one, the Down Syndrome Association of Greater St. Louis. So the reason I'm sharing both of these pages is if you happen to be the family member of someone who has Down syndrome and you wanted to learn more, or you were looking for support for yourself, these associations are all across the country.
Yes.
And if you can't find one locally, then you can hop over to the Down Syndrome national page. Or Fran, you said you thought there was another one, NADS or NDS?
NADS. We had actually gone to a couple conferences when Bubby was little up north.
Oh, okay.
We went there.
Oh, yep. All right. So let me go back and take the Greater St. Louis.
If you want to know some of the interesting things, as I'm sitting here thinking about when Bubby was little, he was in the NICU, and then so I got to know the nurses really well there, and so then when they would have someone who had a child who happened to be born with Down syndrome, I would go talk to him, and I would take Luke with me. And he would climb all over the mom on the bed, and he would pick up the phone, and he was just a kid, and that's what I wanted them to see. He's a kid. They're children. And I mean, I was blessed in the fact that Luke didn't have all of the medical things. Some of the things when they're first born, they can have it where their esophagus does not connect to their stomach. It actually loops back around. So that's like a life-threatening surgery or life-threatening occurrence because there's no nutrition able to go anywhere. So, and heart problems, holes in the heart, that can be some things that you encounter in the early times. One of the things someone told me, and I discovered when he was, when I was working with adults who happen to have developmental disabilities, is someone said there's 100% chance of them developing a form of dementia. I went,
Wow.
I'd never heard it, and it was like, wait a second, you just lumped that onto my, and I was like, as it all fell, the gravity of that statement, I was like, well, that means that that's going to occur without a choice. But
right.
What they used to also say, they wouldn't live past a really early age too. So I know that God's got Luke in his hands, and whatever happens, and I'm just along for the ride with him. So
yeah,
I know I've seen it happen though in individuals, and so there are increased health things, but there are with other people as well, who happen to have different needs. It increases health things. So you can't, for me, I've chosen not to live in fear of it. We just tackle life day by day. We do what we can and enjoy life. I'm looking at the pictures that are scrolling through, and he did. I would like to say that especially when he was home, that he got to do as many things as we could. I was blessed by having grandparents who loved to take him on trips even when I couldn't. He even went on a few Disney cruises and loved the characters, and that was his favorite thing.
And because these are still pictures, you don't have any videos that you're sharing here, but the picture where you were sitting at the piano just a few slides back made me think of the time that you and he sang. It was a Christmas song, if I recall correctly. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I sure do. It was actually Amazing Grace.
Oh, okay. And
that we sang.
Yeah.
I'm believing. And yeah.
I want to put this up because I absolutely agree with this 100%. Fran is an amazing minister man, and he is blessed to have her in his life. I 100% agree with that. And I have been blessed to be part of his life, and he has most certainly blessed me. And I want to encourage anyone who, for whatever reason, has not had someone with a special need be part of your life, to find someone with a special need and befriend that person, because we miss out on a lot by not being open to certain experiences, whether it's a fear, a misunderstanding. um, I mean, I feel like, the statistic is 1 in 26 families has someone with a special need in it. So I feel like there are opportunities that um, you will be able to be privileged to know and experience life through their eyes. Um, it's a very different perspective in a lot of regards, and it's it's just eye opening. I learned so much as a special education teacher that people go through, families go through, that I had no idea about. And it just made me appreciate their lifestyle and my lifestyle that much more. Um, so I'm not trying to stereotype, but I know I kind of am, because it's life changing. You're right, Alex. It is. My life has gotten tremendously better.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
There we go. I don't know if it'll play. I've never done this through what we're using.
It should.
Can you hear it?
Not yet.
How do I share the audio? That's the problem. I'm going to go to audio settings over here.
It should.
I don't understand.
You have your audio on your computer right now?
Oh, okay. Hold on. Here we go. Let me try this.
that to me is amazing because I have sung that exact song in church and I have to have the words because I get nervous and I'm afraid I'm going to miss the word or mess up a word. So his confidence to get up there and to do that and to share church. You got your
Thanks. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I was switching back.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
So
You could hear me echoing in the background. So I was like, wait, you have to turn the volume down back again on your computer.
I was trying to get you back off of my speaker system and everything. Sorry,
Yeah.
I haven't shared audio with you this way before. So
No, that's okay. I totally put you on the spot. Fran is very, she's not scared of anything technological, so she'll just jump in and start doing things. And she has taken over the broadcasting of her church services, and she didn't really know how to do that before they asked her to do that or she volunteered. And so, yeah, she'll figure it out. So I can put her on the spot and not worry too much that she'll either say, nope, I can't do it, or, she'll figure it out. She won't spend a lot of time because she can figure it out that quickly usually. So
only by the grace of God.
Amen. That's how any of us do anything, right?
Yes. But yeah, so he loves to sing, but the funny thing is he thinks a microphone should be his, and oh, there's a share audio button. I see it now. In the future, I know how to share now. Okay, I apologize.
So next time, who knows what we
Next
might
time, who knows?
You just never know what you're going to get when you join the Friday with Fran show.
Who knows?
Tune in every week because it's always going to be something fun.
we I would like to say I wanted to bring joy to people and truth and hope, because it seems so dark and dreary these days, and having an individual who happens to have a different need can be challenging. It can be weary, but knowing that you're not alone is, and I would like to say that I hope people know you're not alone by listening to you and I, and as we share our life experiences, there's always hope. There's always people out there, and for me and for you, I know that there's God.
Yes.
I
mean, he's there for everybody, but you and I have accepted him and
right. Yeah. And the funny was Luke wanted to singing. That was one I wish I'd had for you. He wanted to get baptized, and so they wanted to make sure he knew that about Jesus. Mm-hmm. And so they asked him where Jesus is. He goes, in my heart. And so he satisfied them that he knew where Jesus was. And so when I chose to rededicate my life and get baptized at the same time as he did, so we were both in there, and that way also hoping that by example he would understand what was going on. I was baptized and I was standing off in the corner, and the pastor had a microphone and was talking to him and asking him, and then Luke being Luke took the microphone and he said, Jesus loves me, to everybody while standing in the baptistry. So that's
what better testimony than that.
So he loves music. He will play the guitar. He likes Elvis. He likes a wide range of music. So, but I just want people to know that Down syndrome, there's so many opportunities, especially now as people become more aware. And I guess that's why we have Down Syndrome Awareness Month, why we have Awareness Month for many things.
Right. Yeah. And I can remember talking with parents who were told that their child probably would have Down syndrome when their child was born. And they have all expressed very similarly to what you said. Well, why do I want to know? And it's so they have the option to terminate the pregnancy before the child ever comes out of the womb. And that saddens my heart that we that sorry, I just read a comment that made me laugh. I'll show you the comment in a second. That we would think that because someone has Down syndrome, that their life isn't worthy, and therefore we would want to end their life before they ever come out of the womb.
Mm-hmm.
And then when parents have said, you know, well, I'm not going to terminate the pregnancy, some of those parents have had their physicians continue to talk to them about it.
Yes.
Like they were trying to convince them. And I don't understand, especially in 2020, knowing all the wonderful things that are available, as far as medical advances, education opportunities, employment opportunities, that they are still suggesting termination of pregnancy over and over and over again. So you were talking about that he really loves Elvis. And this person says that boy has excellent taste in music idols. Happens to also, I know this one personally, and she also happens to think very highly of Elvis. So,
Uh-huh.
so that's why.
Blue suede shoes.
Yes, blue suede shoes, Jailhouse Rock. I grew up listening to Elvis, so I also find Elvis. Do you? You have another one?
No, I'm not gonna.
Oh, because it just so happened when you said that the picture of him holding the guitar popped up. So
he was actually,
you have a new video.
I do have that video. He was actually singing Blue Suede Shoes, I believe.
Was he Elvis? Video. Why am I thinking that he was Elvis one year for Halloween? Or that
no, he's okay. He met Elvis. There. One of the bummer parts of all this COVID is there was an organization in our area that would host dances for individuals with developmental disabilities, and they sponsored Elvis to come. And so that's where, and Bubby loved that. And they would have Santa come. This was actually a church Christmas carol up to his house, and Santa came to visit him.
Oh, yeah.
He asked me today, Santa call? And so the answer with Luke, it's very important to be consistent. And also, and so you say to him, when does Santa call? Christmas. Was it Christmas? No. And then the next thing he said, Spider-Man call? When Spider-Man call? Birthday. What's Spider-Man doing now? Fighting criminals.
Yep. So, and did he get his Spider-Man call for his birthday this year?
Yes, he did.
Spider-Man awesome.
Called. Yes.
Way to go, Spider-Man.
Yes, I was grateful Spider-Man took time to stop fighting criminals and then on his birthday parade, Spider-Man showed up. Spider-Man was a very small Spider-Man, but Spider-Man showed up.
Oh, wow.
Blessed to have a friend that their son, who happened to be a toddler, yeah.
Aww.
It was a hot day, but he was Spider-Man.
Aww, so, that's wonderful.
And that tells me how much Luke has reached so many people. Yeah. This was somebody that attends where Luke goes to church, and and she's actually had gone on holiday with us one time, and wow. he just has worked his way into people's lives.
Yeah,
he's still in touch with. We were talking about the other day. He's in touch with his aide from all the way back in the beginning to now. So. That was Tony La Russa.
That was Tony La Russa, yeah, the Cardinals manager years ago. He's no longer the manager.
Tony's troops, we were able to go. He got to meet Soda Gucci, John Maybury, David Eckstein. I don't remember.
Wow. I bet he would, though.
Yeah, he probably would. He could tell you all those kind of things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm replaying the whole slideshow because we've had our live viewer numbers went up, so I wanted to make sure that everyone
Oh,
who
okay.
joined in was able to see all the great pictures. I hope that whether you're watching live or you're watching on the replay, that you are hearing the wonderful side and the hope and the joy and the normalcy of parenting that you will be able to have if you have a child with Down syndrome. No, it isn't going to be exactly like your neighbors, but you know what? No matter who your child is, you're not parenting exactly like your neighbor
Mm-hmm.
or your family members, because you're a different person and your child is a different person. So I want to encourage you, if you, especially if you are pregnant and you've just been told that this is a possibility that your child will be born with Down syndrome, your as Fran said early on, your dreams for your child will change, but they don't have to die.
Right.
Your child's opportunities are growing every day, and you will be privileged and blessed to have someone with Down syndrome in your life. Will it be a struggle? Absolutely. Will it be more of a struggle than somebody parenting a typically developing child? Probably. Will it be worth it? I'm going to let you answer, Fran.
In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
So, if you have, like I said earlier, if you have someone in your life who has Down syndrome, and it's especially if it's someone that you are the guardian or the parent of, if you're looking for support, just you can Google in your area where you might be able to join a group for support. If you can't find one in your area, or you just feel like you already have a connection made with Fran because of this, reach out through me, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
will pass your information along, and I'm sure that Fran would try to contact you, and I just can't say enough that it's so worth it. There's I don't know. I'm at a loss for how I want to say it without coming across offensive, because I don't mean it to be offensive to anyone. Um, but there's hope.
There's um there's more joy. There, as I think Alex said it, there's more positive than negative.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay. I just shared a picture. I don't know if you can share it. That way it'll just, so it won't flip through. That's but um it's more, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah.
And don't lose hope, and do know that you're not alone. And that's why I just keep thinking back to, you're not alone. And I just, even not even with just Down syndrome, if anyone raising a child who happens to have a different need, or going through it, or as we were talking about, we're the sandwich generation, where we're also caring for people are caring for their parents as well. Don't do it alone. You need help, and it's okay to reach out. It doesn't make you weak.
Absolutely. And just on a quick note, since you talked about, our loved ones, and I know, that Luke is in ASILA, but you are also part of the Caregivers for Compromise group. Speaking of taking care of loved ones, and more often than not, we think of that being somebody in a nursing home, and that person being our parent. So do you have any quick updates of what's been happening with that group? We just recap really quickly. A few weeks back, Fran went live from Springfield, Illinois, where she was advocating with others that caregivers are essential employees to those who are in SILAs or nursing homes or any type of facility where they're not exposed to their family members because of the pandemic.
The only update is we continue to meet as a group via Zoom, and there was a meeting on Monday with some state officials and agencies within the state. But if we're looking for legislation, it's not going to happen until maybe the following summer. But we have loved ones dying in the meantime. So
Right.
I don't know. It's a little, and I think that's part of my weariness. It's a little draining, but
Yeah. It's, as she mentioned earlier, it's been over 200 and getting close to 210 days that she has not been able to hug her son. She was able to see him this morning, but she was not able to hug him. She wasn't able to high five him. She wasn't able to be in the same room as him. It was just a matter of dropping some stuff off for him with his caregivers and then having to leave right away. So it's very tiring. And this whole pandemic is very tiring to everyone, but more so to certain populations that are dealing with things like that, you know, where their loved one is in a facility that they're not being allowed in.
I was just trying to bring up that final picture that you were, sorry, I forgot I was sharing.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh,
So
there you go. This is how we have to look at each other. Go ahead while you tie it up. I'm sorry.
So yeah, while she's pulling that up, I just wanted to thank you all for joining us. And I appreciate every one of you that is watching these in replays, that is watching these on YouTube. Make sure that you are commenting, make sure that you are liking. If you are not a follower of me here or on YouTube, make sure that you like or you subscribe, depending on which service you're using. And next Tuesday, I will be joined with Linda Leenstra, who was expected to join me this past Tuesday, and we ended up having to switch out. So she will be, if nothing else changes between now and this coming Tuesday, coming at 1 o'clock Central Time. And we will be talking about things to do during remote learning. She is also someone who has gone through the Master IEP Coach program. She is working out in New Jersey and surrounding states, so she'll have some expert advice of things that are going on there, and then we can talk about some things happening here in the Midwest. So again, thank you all so much. This has been Friday with Fran. We appreciate you, and Alex and LA Jansen, we appreciate your comments so much. You all have a great week.
Take care.